What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another live session on a Friday. Today we're going to be focused on golf mobility. And for those who are non-golfers, you can benefit from this also. So we're going to work mobility. Obviously, we'll have a kind of a focus on golf, but it's going to be a lot of mobility, overall total mobility, which everybody can benefit from. And mobility is not just flexibility. There's a difference between flexibility and mobility, right? So we're thinking about moving our joints through full range of motion, trying to work the neuromuscular control it takes to move through those ranges of motion. So don't just think we're going to be stretching, which is good. I'm not saying it's not good to stretch. This is a little bit different, a little bit more dynamic, a little bit. Nothing like too crazy, not like our dynamic warm-ups that I do a ton of. But these are a lot of good movements. If you're going to go play golf, that this would be a good kind of routine to do before you go play golf. I'm going to turn this fan off because I can see myself in the background. It's distracting me. So I don't know if it's distracting you. Alright? But luckily, I am not working outside, so having just one fan off a little bit, I won't suffer too badly since we are coming into the summer here in Tampa, Florida. Alright, so first we're going to start standing cars. Controlled articular rotations, right? Kind of a great, CAR is the acronym, or not acronym, acronym? Yeah, acronym. It stands for controlled articular rotation. We're focusing on one joint specifically and trying to take it through its full range of motion. So we're going to do a neck CAR to start, right? So I'm going to try to pull my head back, chin to chest, left collarbone, point my ear to the ceiling, then my chin to the ceiling, ear towards my right shoulder, chin towards my right collarbone, back to my chest. I really need this to kind of bring my neck up in jiu-jitsu this week, so I've been doing neck CARs like crazy. Even though I usually do them on a regular basis too. You see, this is kind of my range before I really feel a lot of discomfort in my neck. This side specifically. Left side of my neck really took a beating. It actually feels better than it did about a week ago. Alright, and why neck CAR, right? I'm playing golf. Why does my neck need to be mobile? Believe it or not, the range of motion of your neck, okay, actually affects specifically, especially your backswing, right? Because obviously, a lot of people, and I'm not a golf instructor, golf fitness instructor, but golf, like not a swing coach. But typically, you keep your eye on the ball as you do your backswing. Well, if you lack neck mobility, your head's going to turn when you do your backswing, or you're going to shorten your backswing to keep your eye on the ball, right? So having a more mobile neck will help your swing. I'm going to go one more each side just because I need it. And why not? You guys probably need it too. I'm going to show you this one. I know I've been showing you from the side, so I'm going to show you straight on, get a little bit closer. Okay? I know. This is kind of poor for me, I would say, typically. I really try to shoot my fingers down. Don't shrug. Don't bring your collarbone to your chin. Alright? Bring your chin to your collarbone. Woo, right there. That's tough for me. Alright, now, we'll keep in the CAR theme, and we're standing shoulder CAR. Alright? So now I'm just going to focus on the shoulder joint. Alright? So I'm going to bring it across my body. Here. Rotate. Externally rotate. Lift, internally rotate, boom, back across my body. I'll show you from the side. Alright, sweep across, okay. Adduction, or adduction, no. Adduction, yep. Reach. Alright, you got the external rotation right there. Lift, internally rotate back. Okay, to the next arm. Next arm, my other arm, like I have more than two. And you can see I'm really trying to keep this nice and proud, almost like I'm doing Pledge of Allegiance, right? Because I'm focusing on a couple things. I'm going to do another rep. But as you can see from the side, I don't turn. So when I get here, I don't swing this way. And when I go behind, I don't swing this way, right? So you've probably seen people do these, which are not bad necessarily. And this is, but, or the arm circles like this, or not bad. You get some mobility in your joints and things like that. You get to warm up probably, warm up the muscles. But this is really focusing on the joint mobility solely of my shoulder. I'm keeping everything else neutral as possible. I'm not trying to turn my upper back. I'm not trying to rotate from my lower back. Just focusing on shoulder mobility. And that's really the key with the cars, right? And that's what that's their point, really, their objective, I should say, is to focus on one joint. And you can see here, I kind of give myself a little Pledge of Allegiance so I don't shrug, right? I keep this pulled down, keep my collarbone down, right? Oh, man, it's tough on that one. I feel that too with my neck from jiu-jitsu down into the scapula on that left side. I can feel it too. Speaking of scapula, can there be scap cars? Yes, there can be, all right? So we're here, arms out. I'll show you a little bit of an angle, right? So I'm going to elevate. So I'm focused on the shoulders now, right? So our shoulders, shoulder blades, scapula, right? So elevate, retract, pinch them together, depression, pull them down, protract, pull them over. Sorry, somehow I just paused. I apologize, I just paused because I was using the thumbs up. All right, maybe I'll keep my thumb down. That was weird. AI. Too smart, AI. All right, shrug, okay, retract, pinch the shoulder blades together, depression, pull them down, spread them apart, protract, elevate, retraction, depression, protraction. Do one more, this direction, quote unquote, and I want to switch it. I'll go retraction, elevation, protraction, depression. Retraction, elevation, protraction, depression. See if you guys can see. This shirt might help, right? This shirt might be visible if you see my shoulder blades. So I'm going to go retraction, elevation, protraction, depression. One more time. Retraction, elevation, protraction, depression. All right? Hopefully you guys can see that from that angle. But that's a real good one. So now we've done our neck, we've done our shoulder, we've done our upper back, our scapula, right? So those are 3 sets of cars right there that if you want to warm up before the round, is a great way to do it. All right, now I want to do my hinge pattern. Think about every time you hit a golf ball, you hinge, right? You hinge. Even if it's a little small hinge, or bigger hinge, or a little bigger, deeper hinge, depending on what kind of club you're hitting, but you always have to hinge, right? This, right? Just this movement, right? So now we're going to get in that one. I'll do a little deeper hinge, right? Just so I can kind of get a little bit more stretch here in the posterior chain. And I'm going to do my swimmers. So once again, another little scapular movement. Pitch my shoulder blades together. An alternating pattern of this movement with my arms, right? Really great. I feel it a lot in the upper back, but in the elbows too. Because I think a lot of golfers complain, well, our experience of golfers who've trained have a lot of elbow and wrist pain, right? Show you from the straight on view. I'll probably show you from the back view too. Well, I'll stand up and just show you what the infinity hover looks like. A couple more. And you can do this laying flat. You can do it standing up, right? One more. Whew. All right, so I'll just show you the infinity hover itself. Kind of looks like this. Palm side down, palm side up, and switch. I really try to keep those shoulder blades pinched together. You can kind of alternate if you really want to get some protraction and retraction in your scapula, even though I did that already for my scapular cars. All right, so now I want to get down on the ground. Okay, speaking of cars, we're going to the hip car. Probably if I had to pick one mobility movement for golfers to do, it's the hip car. Okay, your pelvis is so important to the golf game that the hip car, I think, is probably the one move. If you had to do one move before golf around, the hip car would probably be it. And I think the hip car would apply for everybody too. Because I mean, your pelvis is, there's so many muscle groups that surround the pelvis, connect to the pelvis, that everybody can benefit from knowing this move. All right, so here's the hip car. I apologize for my little bit of a short short, so you're gonna get a lot of thigh today. Okay, laying on my side, right? I'm gonna bring my knee to my elbow. I'm gonna abduct my knee to the ceiling, right? Internally rotate. Okay, and now I'm gonna extend. I drive my heel back to the wall behind me. Externally rotate. Knee to elbow. Back down. Okay. Knee to elbow. Ceiling. Internal rotation. Extension. External rotation. Extension. Knee to elbow. All right. Good. That's the one right there. That's the move. That gets everybody right there. Internal rotation. Alright? Every time you swing the club, and then there's external right there. Every time you swing the club, I'm going to show you, hopefully, maybe I'll show you from a little bit of this angle, alright? Because I would say I could show you from the other angle, but I don't want anybody looking at my shorts. Not that you would. Not that you would. Alright, the elbow. Here, right? So then this, kind of see it right there, right? That's internal rotation, right? I'm going to try to work through it as I move my knee, and I keep trying to internally rotate. So when you, and then, so I got my extension, you see my heels going back to the wall behind me, and then I externally rotate it to the ceiling, try to bring it back up, and now, let me get this up. So, when you swing your golf club, you are internally rotating and externally rotating. You do that on both hips, or both sides of your hip, I should say. So for me, being a right-handed golfer, I internally rotate over my right hip. Internally rotate over my right hip and externally rotate over my left hip when I do my backswing. And then I internally rotate over my left hip and externally rotate over my right hip when I do my downswing. Alright? And obviously it's flip-flop for left-handed golfers. But you're basically, the reason why the rotation, internal and external rotation to your hip is, I mean, obviously you do that every swing, but it's so important because your pelvis initiates the golf swing, right? The movement of your pelvis, the rotation, really, of your pelvis, is what begins the golf swing. Or that's how, according to TPI and the kinematic sequence, the most efficient golf swing starts with both the backswing and downswing starts with the rotation in the pelvis, okay? One more. So that's why we work on so much internal and external rotation with our golfers here. Alright, because the most efficient swing starts with the pelvis, the rotation of the pelvis, the hip joints, right? So that's why I think it's kind of like the foundation, really, right? Now, obviously, upper back, your thoracic spine mobilities are huge. Plays a portion, obviously shoulder mobility, like we said, neck mobility, elbows, wrists, things like that. But if you can't move your pelvis, you're already so far behind. And there's some people some outliers that have really done a ton without any ability to move the pelvis. But the more you can work on your hip mobility, especially internal and external rotation, the better you're off you will probably be long-term in your golf game, right? It'll be, I would say, probably, for lack of better words, easier to be better at golf, right? All right, so now we're sitting at 90-90. Once again, hip mobility, but I'm going to add in a little thoracic spine mobility. So I'm going to sit here, and this is a little bit of a challenge, right? Not everybody's going to be able to do this, right? So I'm sitting up, which is already a challenge. Because when you do this, you're already in external rotation, internal rotation. For me, especially on my left side, I can feel my internal rotation starting to cramp. This is cramping a little bit. I rode the bike this morning, so my muscles are already a little tired. But now I'm going to be here, arms out, I'm just going to rotate. side to side. Okay? Slow and steady. Working a little hip mobility and thoracic spine mobility. Obviously my head's, now this is not just thoracic spine, my head's turning too. So if I was just going to do thoracic spine, I keep my head still, do my little T-spine rotation, right? Alright, and then we can carry it over for a 90-90 transition, right? Alright, show that again, right? This is another great hip mobility movement, the 90-90 transition. Right. One more time. Okay. I'll change rewind it so you guys maybe can see it from a different angle. Oh, that's perfect, right? 99 on this side. Alright. Turn my head start. Ooh, I feel that internal on my right hip too. So it's obviously my internal rotations probably lacking needs work. And that's, I would say, I don't want to say typical, but it is kind of typical. Typically we find, especially male golfers, they lack internal rotation. That really seems to be. Sometimes, I would say more so than external, right? Keep my head still now, and that thoracic spine. Alright, adductor stretch. This is going to be another hip. Now the adductor, the muscles inside the thigh, what a lot of people refer to as the groin muscles. Alright, so I'm out to the side. I know I've done this one for sometimes my dynamic warm-up or in my warm-up, but this is a great one, right? So my foot, you can see my toes pointed forward, flat. I'm really trying to force down into the ground. Maybe it doesn't bend that way, but I'm trying to bend it that way to build the tension right in there, right? I'm just going to rock my butt back and forth. Feeling the stretch move around the adductor. That's wrapping. You can really feel it. It attaches right inside there, right into the pelvis, right? Rock it back a couple more times. Then I am going to do the reach through. Okay, so I'm here. Reach my right arm up to the ceiling. Right? Get a little T-spine mobility, neck mobility once again. Right? Stretching some of that sling fascia that goes across our body. It's so important. Keep warmed up before your golf game. And one more and I'll switch legs, right? Alright. And let me show you from this side, right? From this angle. Alright, so boom, you see the foot's out. Okay? Driving that tension down and just rocking that butt back and forth. Now, like I said, I think all the moves I showed today, anybody can benefit from. Obviously, we have some specific for golf stuff. I'm going to show a couple more before I finish today. But honestly, all this stuff. You could do all this stuff and never even play golf. I'm telling you. All this stuff would be great to get your body more mobile, feel a little less tight, you know? I know that's kind of a really basic way of describing height, feeling tight. But range of motion, really, I mean, that's kind of what really differentiates mobility from flexibility. And, having, people talk about, I can only straighten my leg out, or I can't touch my toes. Yes, that has a lot to do with flexibility too. But think about the joints that are in between, your toes and your lower back, right? You got your ankle, you got your knee, you got your hips, right? So those are the big joints, right? So, having those more mobile and all the connective tissue that surrounds them, that will help facilitate the toe touch. Right? Obviously, a lot of flexibility here, but if my knees aren't mobile and I'm like this, if maybe I can't even hip hinge, right? Maybe I'm trying to go from my upper back here to touch my toes. It looks like this. You're never going to be able to touch your toes. But if you have more mobile hips, more mobile knee, more mobile ankle, you're more likely to have more range of motion of that joint, right? Okay? And then hopefully they complement each other, mobility and flexibility. All right, one more thing. Well, another kind of real golf specific, but I guess what I promise, you do this, you feel better, even if you don't play golf, right? So we're here, we're in our 6-iron hinge position, right, here, and I'm just going to do my hip circles, like I'm doing my hula hoop, right? Take it from the front side. Yeah, I know it looks weird, that's all right. I want to feel good, I don't care what people think. I go side to side with it. If you ever tried to hula hoop as an adult, I mean, there's some people that can do it. I tried to do it recently with my daughter's hula hoop. No way possible. And I have mobile hips, I think, right? All right, and then finally the tilts. All right. Arching the lower back, rounding it. Right, there's a lot of core control for this. Not only working like obviously lower back flexibility, right? But I'm really working my core control. Move that pelvis, anterior, posterior tilt. Okay, all right, that's all we got for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't catch it, obviously while it was on Instagram, go to our YouTube channel, the Tampa Strength, or sorry, not the Tampa Strength, Tampa Strength YouTube channel. All the live workouts are uploaded onto that channel, and I'll see you next week.